Savencia, and therefore very glad to share with you today this first chapter of Meet the Maker for the École du Fromage of Savencia. I'll just share a few slides to explain a bit who we are and the concept that you're joining. So I'm assuming if Tracy doesn't talk, it's that you can see my screen properly. Savencia has a concept, great, which is the haute fromagerie concept, based on a selection of cheeses from Savencia factories throughout the world. So Savencia is currently known as a big company, but we actually are more a kind of sum of small or medium creameries over France first, where the group started its origin. So we produce cheese, different types of PDO cheese, such as the Roquefort or Vieilles, for example. And we also, throughout the time, developed either partnership or also our own factories in other countries. As examples, a few factories in Spain, and today the star one, the Rogue Creamery from the US. So that's what Savencia is, and the haute fromagerie concept is really a concept to gather all these cheese specialties and icons with tradition, with authentic cheese making within a portfolio, and support this portfolio with our École du Fromage. So in this partnership with the Academy of Cheese, we've got many opportunities to train level 1, soon level 2, both for public, so every cheese amateur, but also for professionals. And yeah, as I mentioned today, we thought the opportunity of this new virtual area was a great one to meet David Gremmels. I'll let the stage to David to tell us his story, the great adventure to get to a point where a bit more than a year ago, he obtained the Best Cheese of the World award in the World Cheese Award, and tell us as well about his company sustainability orientations and all the secrets of the Rogue Creamery in Oregon. So stage is yours, David, and thank you so much for being with us tonight and today for you.
Thank you so much. Yes, it is our morning for those of us joining from the United or from North America. So I see a number of people joining from North America. So good morning and good evening, and really a pleasure. Thank you so much, Tracy, for inviting me, and Naomi for locking down this time. It's, as you know, such a busy time in agriculture. I'm putting up hay today, so we just have a robust harvest ahead of us, and it's spring is busy, you know, in agriculture, and I find that the fall is equally busy, particularly with the release of Rogue River Blue and the start of on the autumnal equinox.
That's when we all start cheering, David, because the Rogue River Blue is released.
And we have a great allotment coming to you in the EU, and I know there's a great allotment going to Canada as well. So, and distributors are just confirming their allotments as well throughout the United States. So it's really an exciting time. And I think I saw someone from Australia that allotment has been confirmed as well. So it's an exciting time of year where I get to taste every lot that we've produced. So a wheel from every lot is taken from the aging cave, and I'm tasting through the cheeses to really assemble the organoleptics and understand where that cheese is going to go and scoring it. And not every lot of cheese will be Rogue River Blue, but there's a good percentage that are on their way. So it's going to be a good release, a good vintage. I already taste it, and I'm excited to really dive into tasting Rogue River Blue. I think there's a few of you who may have some Rogue River Blue as I do. So I'm excited to share this with you. So
There are, I think, some lucky people that managed to get to La Fromagerie in central London.
Yes,
that's
I'm Rogue River Blueless, but I have tasted it and I still can't remember the taste because it is such an awesome cheese.
And I will commit to taste it for you, Tracy.
Ah, you're so kind. Can I just ask David a question on when you're talking about all the different countries that have joined us this evening?
right.
So when you're grading and looking at the flavor profiles of the cheese, will you think about the climate and how far it's got to travel and the time it will take to travel? Do you think about that in the cheese that you select for that country, or is it not that technical?
No, it is that technical. And
Yeah,
we also
I thought it might be.
flavor profile as well. So buyers from the world, around the world, have joined me at Rogue Creamery and tasted through a number of lots of Rogue River Blue. And so some buyers prefer a more spicy, fruit-forward Rogue River Blue, and some buyers want more umami and a little bit more salt in that,
Yeah.
and some prefer more of the savory and sweet. And when you're producing the lots that we do, each cheese lot has its individual personality. And so I can go through the organoleptic notes that I've taken from visitors from Japan and from Australia. So the studs have come out and done an extensive review of Rogue River Blue, and made a decision on specifically the organoleptics that they enjoy. So I get the organoleptic sheets out, and we've done the same certainly with La Fromagerie and Niels Yard Dairy and others. So it's really it's an exciting time. So each lot is scored, but a name of a distributor is assigned to that. So it might be Calendar Cheese, it might be Hassad, right? So
okay, that's cool. So it's not necessarily, it's based more on the taste profiles that they would want, not necessarily on the travel time or the climate that it's going to.
Tracy, it is as well, because the cheese is staged specifically. So I'm really prioritizing the cheese as it is developing in flavor.
Okay, yeah.
So it's destiny. So it's already queuing up.
That's when it'll be released. Okay, cool.
So we'll start releasing in August for the EU, so, and the UK. So it'll be coming to your part of the world in the near term.
Amazing. We can't wait. There's lots of people saying in the chat that they haven't been able to get the Rogue River Blue, so they've got some substitute British cheeses and they're tasting along with us, David. So that's lovely.
Oh, beautiful. Oh, beautiful. And we have doubled the allotment to the EU and UK for this release. So yeah. So
fantastic. Someone is also asking about how much weight is in each allotment, but I suppose that just depends on who buys what, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. And who has been there from the beginning supporting us, right?
Yeah.
So I think about those buyers that really stepped out because it was a very distinctive blue, a blue wrapped in grape leaves, soaked in pear liqueur, pear brandy, unusual and so aromatic. It definitely fills a room. So I think a number of people stepped out to take a risk, to put Rogue River Blue in their cases, and fortunately, it's been very successful. I think Laurent Dubois has a great story in France. He acquired Rogue River Blue, and I was so just taken back and so excited that the cheese was at Laurent Dubois, and I asked him about that, and he said, "There's two things, David, and that can happen." He said, "People might burn down my shop, or they'll line up to get your cheese." So, an American cheese in Paris, I would have never dreamed.
How absolutely lovely. Well,
And of course, the UK, throughout the world, I would have never dreamed. So, this
I think
cheese,
you're very modest. I think you're very modest. I mean, maybe you want to start with your slides and tell us about your journey to making that amazing cheese, because I think it all is part of the jigsaw, isn't it, to making such a fantastic cheese?
Yeah. You know, and it really starts with people, and at Rogue, part of our vision is other-centered. So we really emphasize a focus on people and helping people develop at Rogue Creamery, and helping individuals in our community. And so at Rogue, our vision is simply 5 words: safe, healthy, positive, and other-centered. And very few of us have come to Rogue Creamery with a background in cheese or food science. Many of us have discovered our passion there. And so we have a rigorous training at Rogue that brings each individual up to a level of expertise in that area that they have autonomy, whether it's affinage, or whether it's cheese make, or whether it's at our dairy. And it's a very unique experience for each individual, creating such a distinctive cheese as the Rogue River Blue. Rogue was started in 1933. It was started by a cooperative, and then in 35 acquired by the Viviani family and the Vella family, both very famous cheese iconic names in the US, creating Dry Jack, right? Sonoma Dry Jack with the Viviani, and the Vella family, the Vella Dry Jack. And so they were producing cheese to support markets in the US, and surprisingly in Europe as well, with cheddar. And it was in the late 50s where Gaetano Vella of Vella Cheese saw an opportunity. There were a number of blue cheeses being imported into the US, Danish and French style blues and British style blues. And he felt that there was a market for an American blue. And so he went to France and studied Roquefort cheese making, and brought back the molds and brought back the recipes, and set out to build the first French style cheese factory. Of course, we don't have sheep milk in our region, but utilizing cow milk and creating a cheese in a similar style as a Roquefort. So, and that was our classic signature Oregon Blue that was released in 1954. So that's really the foundation of blue at Rogue Creamery. And then I came into the business in early 2000 and set out to create a new generation of blues, a blue selection that represented not only the landscape, the terroir of our region, but blues that also push the limits of cheese making that really, I think, expressed flavor as well as texture. And you can taste that in Rogue, right? You get the calcium, phosphorus, minerals coming through as crystals through the acidification. Those crystals are formed and you just have that lovely crunch. And I know for Naomi and others that have the Rogue River Blue in front of them today, you just get that lovely crunch that forms or that you can feel, and that just beautiful melt as this cheese is aged about 1.5 years now. So it's pretty exceptional, yeah.
It's
So
quite unusual to age a blue for that long as well, isn't it?
it is. And Tracy, I really had a difficult time during COVID, but I also had some fun during COVID. And part of that fun organized. And and so the silver linings in COVID is I discovered a 2016 release of Rogue River Blue, just maybe 20 cases, and there's 6 wheels in a case. And then a 2017, a 2018. And of course, I had some of the 2019 in reserve because that was the year, and the 2020. So we created this flight of cheeses and offered it for a very short period of time on our website. It was spectacular. And the 2016 was just so fudgy. It didn't have the calcium phosphorus crystals that you would experience in the cheese today, but it was just fudgy, it was sweet, it had that hint of fruit. Those regional huckleberries expressed themselves, and it was just a very soft spice note. And for me, it was also lovely to go back in time to remember, wow, this is when we were just transitioning to organic. So the dairy had just transitioned to being organic in 2014. The pear brandy that we use to soak the biodynamic organic Syrah grape leaves from Cowhorn Vineyard, that was still conventional. So the cheese was conventional at the time. So working with a alcohol spirits company, we created a pear liqueur with them, and it's a local spirits company, and that allowed us to move the cheese to being certified organic. So yeah.
Amazing to be able to find an organic pear spirit as well.
It is. And
the pears are fairly local to you, aren't they, that they make it with?
They are. They border Rogue Creamery's border, and maybe I should just share my screen and.
Oh yes, please do.
Yeah.
So when you say you found the 2016 cheese and the 2017, where did you find them?
Yeah, that was in our
under
cave.
The bed.
That was cave number C. So, and so at Rogue, we have a series of aging caves, and sometimes just an inventory of cheese gets placed, and we've lost track of it. I think purposely, yeah.
Yes.
So we understand where it goes, and at this age, right?
I wish I had
forget
lost.
About it. So.
Yeah, I wish I'd just lost a 2016 Rogue.
So that would have been in Cave C. So yeah, and
cool.
I spoke a little bit about Rogue's values: safe, healthy, positive, and other-centered. And what you can see is the background in this slide that really shows our farm. And Tracy, you mentioned the pear vineyard, and the pear vineyard just borders to the left as you're looking, the pear orchards and then the vineyards up in the horizon there. So
just
this,
idyllic.
this cheese really does represent the region, and you can see the dairy is bordered by one side, the Great Rogue River. And so at Rogue, we really lead with our values and a commitment that is committed socially, economically, and environmentally. And so we're focused on intensive grazing and building topsoil at 0.1% each year, thereby sequestering carbon, retaining rainwater and runoff. Our pastures, as you can see, are green. This photo is taken in late summer, early fall. So this is the optimum time of our milk, where our solids and our butter fats are about equal at about 3.5%. So, and most of our energy at Rogue is conventional off the grid, but we're changing that. So in building photovoltaic systems, we're now at 4 photovoltaic systems and offsetting our energy about 40%. And the team at Rogue is very committed to social engagement through volunteerism and economic justice through our monetary giving and our in-kind giving. And the in-kind giving, of course, is cheese. And this is where yeah.
I'm coming. I'm here now. I'm getting on a plane.
Hey, this is where we've created our Cheeses Love program. It was inspired to support the food banks in our region because of those desperately in need of food, because of the pandemic and because of the wildfires. So nearly 1,000 homes were lost within a reach of Rogue Creamery. And so we're trying to do our part to provide nutritious food, that is cheese, that is utilized to produce about 3,000 meals a day for our community through the Cheeses Love program. It's a sustainable program, so basically anyone can buy a block of Cheeses Love, which is a premium aged cheddar at Rogue, and we'll give that equal weight in cheese to the food bank or to Rogue Food Unites.
Oh, what a nice initiative. And is that just in the Oregon region, or is that across the United States?
So far, Tracy, we're focusing in Oregon, but I think the program could be duplicated by other creameries, as our Pedal Green program, our carbon offsetting program through either riding a bicycle to school, to work, and or our carpooling or taking public transportation. We incentivize our team member to either carpool, walk, or commute by bicycle. We give a commuter bike to any team member that commits to pedaling to Rogue Creamery 45 days a year. So, and the bike is theirs. So
fantastic. And I think it would be, you know, that looking at this picture, just an awesome cycle ride to work.
It is, and there's our photovoltaic system, but really it's one of 4 at Rogue, and really the I think part of being a B Corp, as we are, B Corps are businesses worldwide that are unified in making a positive difference economically, socially, and environmentally. And it's one of the more difficult certifications that we've achieved. And in doing the certification and the audit each year, we try to improve upon our commitment, and we've become best for the world in our governance, in our social commitment to our community, and and to the environment. So we're very proud of that. And we're in the Hall of Fame for Oregon's best businesses. And Oregon's a pretty green state, so it's not an easy thing to do. So we're in the Hall of Fame. Of course,
you're getting a lot of love for this from the people, from our attendees. They're saying great recognition, great work, David.
This is what we get excited about.
I know, and that's a fantastic initiative. That's the cheeses love these values and an application of them. So lots of, it is absolutely awesome the way you do operate. But
our herd is also Validus certified and farm certified, as is our dairy. So that's a strict certified humane program. And so it's and each cow has the name. So right now, Emily.
Tell us about the cows, because we've got one of our attendees is asking what's the breed of cows.
Yeah, that's a great question. We are Holstein, Brown Swiss, and Brown Swiss mixed breed, and there are a few milking shorthorns. Emily is one of those. One of my favorites at this time. Such a lovely personality. And then we have another one, Sweet Pea, that has risen to the pecking order as one of my favorites too. They just so, and she's a mixed breed between Holstein and Brown Swiss. So,
and have you you've been working with mixing the breeds to get the best milk for your cheeses, or
good question, Tracy. We don't standardize our milk. We start standardizing our milk in the pasture, so that's through breeding. And so our cows will walk an average of 3 miles a day to and from the Eco Cow Palace, which is our loafing barn where our robotic milkers are, Matilda and Charlie. And
the Eco Cow Palace is going to be a line for the evening. I love it.
It was designed for airflow and comfort and health. It definitely, if I came back in my next life as a cow, it's where I want to be. So
the Eco Cow Palace, of course. Right. So tell us about the palace. How many cows have you got? How big is the herd? Jenny is asking.
Yeah, Jenny, we have 110 milkers at this time, and we have about 160 cows. And so there's a lot of attention given to the genetics because they have to be hardy. They're putting in 3 miles a day, and we're, of course, that exercise takes away from volume, but right in the end, it's not volume that we're looking for. It's components, it's butterfat, it's protein, and most importantly, it's flavor. So the investment starts in the genetics as well as in the field, building that topsoil and being stewards of native grasses and rebuilding and reintroducing native grasses to our pastures. And that is exemplified, I think, and expressed in the flavors of our milk, of course, but it's amplified in the cheese, particularly in the autumn. Here's a list of some B Corps worldwide, so you can see we're part of a good group of companies.
Yeah, big businesses.
And including Le Tremblay, Savencia company that has joined being a B Corp, as well as Organic and Repubblica de Cacao. And we're also very proud of our score. We are in that best top 10% in governance, commitment to workers, and our community and our environment. So we're working towards that 200. 80 is the benchmark, and so it's a continual a continuous improvement to what do I want to say? A continuous commitment to improvement here. So
amazing. And so we've just got someone asking if we can see the cows, if they can meet your favorites. I don't know if you've got slides with the cows on.
Let's see, I'd have to dig for those.
Okay.
We have a lovely video. I think that maybe I could send you the video.
Yes, we can put that up on the Academy website, because at Academy of Cheese, all our level 2 delegates, Rogue River Blue is one of the cheeses that we study. So it would be fantastic. We could put the video up on the, we could put that up in the website, if that's okay.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. Yeah. It's a great short video and really just shows our commitment to our herd. So
cool. Well, we'll get that up. But I did read a little bit about you, one of the interviews that you did a while ago, about the cow's journey when they go for milking. I just love that story, and if that's still happening, and how they, because I think it's that care of the cow, the quality of, and it is reflected in the cheese, isn't it?
it really is. You know, it's that energy. So it goes back to our values of safe, positive, and healthy. And that's really reflected in our herd management as well. And one of the reasons I committed to acquiring the robot, so our herd's people could be committed to the herd and the landscape rather than to milking twice a day. So, and so a calf's journey is pretty wonderful at Rogue, in that she will nurse from her mother for about a week and then move towards our weaning barn, and then she'll suckle from bottles and that are prepared with our herds people, taking milk from the nurse cows. And so there's that human interaction. And then as she and the steers are and future bulls are weaned from milk and put on grain and put on hay, the next step will be to introduce them to pasture, and that's where they come to my personal farm. And so I introduce them to rotational grazing, their first electric fence experience.
Yeah, has to happen.
A lot of electric fences, but it's part of the training. And then the part of that rotational grazing is moving to different paddocks throughout my property. It's walking over a bridge and grazing on a slope of land, and it's all different terrain. So it's great, and that's where they get their name, and certainly they get to know their name, and they get to know human interaction. I mean, they look at me and they think grain, they think tree, they think pets around the ears. So it's just really a wonderful experience, not only for myself, but for those who are helping me, my neighbors, when I travel, and team members who help me, who also live on property. So it's great, yeah.
And when the cows go for when they go for milking, they decide themselves when they would like to be milked. Is that still the case?
Yeah, so from my farm, they'll move to the dairy to get bred, and then they'll freshen. And of course, I explained that our cows are grazers, and and they're self-milkers. They milk when they want to get milked. And so not every cow wants to be milked twice a day. Some cows want to be milked once a day, and some cows want to be milked 3 times a day. So and they're very social. They like to go up with their pals, and so they'll move. It's really fun to watch. They'll move from the field and walk up a path to the Eco Cow Palace and queue up in the milking parlor. And there's always a dominant cow. So she will barge in and break the queue and push in front. And, and once they get into the robot milking section of Matilda and Charlie, she is in this area that it's her time. The robot will clean her udders, and it will put cups on each udder, measure the yield from each quarter of the cow's udder, and release the cups at a comfortable PSI. So the temperature of the cow's tract, it really helps us in managing our cows organically. So we're very focused on preventative. So, you know, if we can help the cow's health with probiotics or apple cider and honey, you know, we watch the temperature, we watch the yield, we watch the gait. So
that's amazing.
Much.
They must be very, very happy cows.
They are happy cows. We'll steal that from California for the moment, which they own the happy cow.
We've got a question here from Mary Quick, the legendary Mary Quick's here. Hi, Mary. Mary's saying, how does it work to integrate grazing and robot milking? How far will they walk out?
Yeah, Mary's actually been to my farm, so she knows the very back paddock that borders the Rogue River is nearly 1.25 miles. So it's a good distance. So yeah, for the cow to go out, graze, and return, that cow's put in a good 1.25 miles of steps.
And they'll do that on their own accordance, or with a lot of guidance?
No, they do. So it's just part of the rotational grazing program, as Mary practices, is giving them a fresh paddock. So there's a reward. So it's constantly rotating those paddocks so the grass is fresh, and it's an inspiration for the cows, right? It's so they'll go up to the a milking parlor and then come back and to a fresh paddock of grass. So
Emily is asking,
you don't have to be coached.
Yeah, Emily is asking, what makes the cows want to enter the milking barn? Are there treats? But presumably it's because they know they need to empty their udders.
There's a comfort level, correct?
Yeah.
But there is also organic grain. There's about 7 pounds of organic grain that's given to the in the at the robot. So that's also a great inspiration. So yeah.
That's really cool. They must be like having pet dogs.
They're a lot like, I would say, Labradors. So,
do you have a Labrador as well?
I have German short hair pointers. I have 3 pointers, and you know, that's a high energy breed. Those dogs are everywhere. So you put them in a pasture and all 3 have gone in their separate direction. So, yeah.
They behave less than the less well than the cows then.
Right. So I know we wanted to taste some Rogue River as well.
Yes, let's do some tasting, because maybe Noemi can come back in because she's got some cheese and taste it with you, if she hasn't disappeared down the pub, because the pubs are.
I haven't. I'm enjoying it.
Hey, this is
about the cheese and the wrapping and the time, you know, the maturation and all about it.
This is a 16th wedge. Looks like Naomi has about an 1/8 wedge, and
she
so
needs to send me some.
Yeah,
it's a 16 as well. It's a 16.
Is it okay? And so this again is aged about 1.5 years, so it's going to be just really fruit forward. And I like to taste from the center of the wheel, center of the paste first. So, and just taking a bit to understand that level of fruit, and that which gets, I think, its personality from the pear liqueur that the organic biodynamic Syrah grape leaves are macerating in for about a year before we remove those leaves from the pear liqueur and wrap the wheel. So so there's a lot of planning that goes into this wheel. So we're working with our distiller nearly 2 years prior to a release to create the seed alcohol for us to then break down and create the pear liqueur. We used to make pear, work with a distiller to make for us pear brandy. And they weren't willing to move to organic, so we had to change. And so we actually create the pear liqueur in-house by breaking that down with simple syrup and locally harvested organic pears. But the pear, but the seed alcohol is actually coming from a local source in Ashland, Oregon, which is just a stone's throw from us. So the Oregon State University helped us in developing the pear liqueur. So we've moved from the brandy to liqueur. But if you're taking a CCP, it's probably going to ask if we use brandy. And so the answer would be yes, until that question gets changed to liqueur. So the leaves are harvested a year prior. So we'll actually be harvesting the Syrah grape leaves at Calhoun Vineyard later this month. So that harvest will start, we'll pick about 120,000 leaves. It seems like a lot of leaves, and it is a lot of leaves. So the entire team assembles at Calhoun Vineyard about 5:30, 6 a.m. in the morning. We watch the sunrise, we pick leaves, and it's pretty glorious out there. It's really, really special. And so we have a commitment of picking about 20 days a year at Calhoun, and we take the leaves back to Rogue Creamery, wash them, and then macerate them, where they'll soak for a year before we'll lift them out and wrap the wheel. So
is it a concentrated liquid, or is it that you macerate them in the concentrate of the pear liqueur, or it's diluted?
No, in the concentrate. Yeah.
Wow. So they're almost pickled then.
They are almost pickled.
After 12 months.
And believe me, if you don't wear gloves, you'll be pickled too.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's something I learned in my first year of macerating these leaves. So
fantastic.
The wheels then, we start creating those on the autumnal equinox. So September 22nd. It's then when we really notice that butterfats and solids, the proteins are equal. Our yields from the dairy are lower, but our yields at the vat are higher. And the flavor is really expressed. So a lot of those autumnal flavors come through. So straw and grains and Himalayan blackberry, and it's just really lovely milk to work with, and that flavor is focused as this cheese ages. So for those who have tasted this cheese towards the rind, you'll note that it gets this beautiful savory note, almost like pancetta or cured bacon. So
you might have to hold it up a bit closer because your green screen is blocking it out. That's it. Come in. That's it. A little bit this way.
There
That's
we
it.
go.
Perfect, perfect.
So,
Look, it's the green of those leaves as well, the vine leaves, because they're just, I can't
yeah,
believe that that cheese is 18 months aged.
it is. And oh, it's just so fudgy, so delicious. And as Naomi may share, it's very expressive in fruit and spice. So the Pinocchio Roqueforti is robust in the center of the paste. You're getting the pear spirits coming through, and you're also getting that flavor of grapes coming through. So it's really just, I would say, very fruit forward in the center, as well as maybe a triad of peppercorns are coming through. So black and red and green peppercorns. It's a medium spice. If I looked at a scale of 1 to 10, it's about a 5. And
what's really amazing as well is, first of all, is the crunchiness that the Penicillium strains give. And also I found out that as it's crunchy, it delivers some kind of toasted flavors, which
yeah,
is very unique in blue cheese, because generally you will have this kind of cavey, earthy flavors, but here you have almost a fresh, crunchy bread as you
toasty buttered bread, it does have that characteristic, and those really lovely toasty notes. And as you continue to taste from the center of the paste, and there we go, and we go into the cheese to the rind, what you'll pick up is these little hints of milk chocolate, and thank you, Naomi, and a little hint of vanilla as we go from the center of the cheese to the rind, and then it has these wonderful nutty flavors, almost toasted Brazil nuts or toasted filberts, hazelnuts, and then as you move from probably that halfway point in the paste towards the rind, it really becomes expressive in those mushroom umami notes. And many people,
for anybody that hasn't got the cheese or hasn't tasted Rogue River before, you may think that these two are making it up. It's true, but it just takes you on this long journey. It's got so many different flavor profiles that don't contradict each other. They just complement all the way. It's just this amazing mouth journey.
I remember I think it was Patrick McGuigan, at the ceremony we did after the World Cheese Award. He said the first time he had the cheese, he thought it was going to be a complete mess, because you have all these flavors coming, like all these varieties that David mentioned, and it's like very complicated to imagine that so many flavors will manage to get together. But it's actually a perfect balance, and this is what this cheese managed to do. It was a great definition of this cheese, and yes, really what you find out.
It's just so dense in flavor. And there was a question that I saw that what would I pair with it? And
we've got that question in the chat, David, as well. What wine or beer would you put with it? Or
right.
I don't think it needs anything else, really.
Yeah, but it's superb with a number of wines, varietals, whether it's a Viognier or a blend, maybe a Viognier Roussanne Marsanne. A Riesling is amazing. So it can be
slightly sweeter.
Yeah, it can be a bright Riesling, or it can be more of an aged, sweeter Riesling. and dessert wines, sauternes are amazing. It's because of the grape leaves, I also like to pair it with Syrah.
I was just about to say, would you go, because what grows together goes together?
Yeah,
The old adage, yeah.
Work and so, and then Vintner blends really go well with it. So whatever that blend might be, because a blend is usually complex, and it can be more on a tannic side or more on a sweet side, it really works well. And then as far as beers, I like to go more towards a heavier porter or a stout. One of my favorites is a double chocolate imperial stout. Yeah, it's so exceptional.
Fantastic,
And
good tips.
farmhouse ciders are remarkable as well. And after dinner, after you've had the cheese plate and then your dessert, and there's still maybe some cheese left, having an eau de vie, a pear brandy with it, would be remarkable as well. So the other thing, I've been enjoying a tropical fruit juices with it. So
okay, yeah, we have in the UK we have single varietal apple juice is quite, and so you just get the one, yeah,
that was amazing.
And it's a really nice non-alcoholic drink to have with cheese as well, because it kind of, if you get the right apple variety, just cuts through the fat and the just really lovely flavors.
Oh, that sounds incredible. Cherry juice has been amazing. Pomegranate juice surprisingly works. And then taking it to the morning where we are today on the West Coast is combining it with different teas. Different black teas, as well as what I like to do is steep a black tea and crush some blueberries or huckleberries, or right now we have strawberries and raspberries into the teapot, and then steep it and just get those lovely berry flavors coming through with the black tea. It combines beautifully.
I think this is a whole new webinar, David. I think in November, when everybody they'll have saved up by then, because it's not a cheap cheese. Can be quite pricey in London. We come back in November when we've all got some cheese, and we do some amazing pairings.
That would be lovely. Yeah, and certainly with honey and preserves, and oat cookies are amazing. Corn cookies are amazing. Oh yeah, we can.
Yeah, we're getting some really lovely comments here.
I wanted to just remind everyone to eat the leaf, because
okay, yeah,
we were
get drunk on leaf.
Picking these organic and biodynamic leaves. We certify the vines and the leaves as USDA organic, and they are painstakingly picked and washed by my team, and they're so delicious.
Yes, I was gonna ask you to remind me if we were meant to eat them.
Yeah, and it gives you a completely different flavor.
I bet. And what age, what point is the vine at when you pick the leaves? I would imagine I suppose if they're too young, they're not big enough. So
yeah, so it's really, we watch that carefully. So the vines are just budding, and they're just going to go crazy right now. So those vines are just going to explode, and the leaves will explode. So we always go before the vines are trimmed. So the vines are just everywhere.
Yes,
and you're walking down the rows.
So you're doing the trimming.
We're plucking the leaves, and we pluck from the eastern and northern side of the vine. So that helps light come in, and and just bring sugar to the clusters. So it's a necessary step in at a vineyard, and we're just helping the process. But in that process, we just get this beautiful set of leaves. There's about 7 leaves per wheel, and
Amazing.
it's.
And at what temperature do you mature the cheeses at then? Presumably to keep them for 18 months. It's at a low temperature.
So we have different series of temperatures. So we'll start at 50 degrees Fahrenheit, and then we'll slowly move to about 36 degrees Fahrenheit. So we can retain those cheeses over time.
I used to know what that would have been in
Degrees.
in Celsius, and because I suppose it is quite a few years since we were Fahrenheit, but okay,
Yes.
cool. So can you see any more questions there? Oh, 10. So, Alison, thank you, Alison. Bless you. Alison is one of our fantastic alumni who is working her way through the 75 cheeses that we have to taste at level 2 Academy of Cheese.
Oh my gosh, how fantastic.
And she's still to taste Rogue River Blue, though, bless her. So, and Swaledale Hughes, I think she's saying, so the Celsius is 10 degrees Celsius down to 2 degrees Celsius, so pretty low.
Oh, thank you for sharing that. Yeah.
Yes, no, that's brilliant. We're getting loads of love for you here, David, and saying thank you so much.
I feel it verbally. And
someone's saying, I recently had Rogue River Blue on a chocolate digestive and I regret nothing. Fantastic.
No guilt.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So I just need to ask you, sorry, I've got loads of questions for you tonight. What is your second, because I'm assuming Rogue River Blue is your favorite cheese from your portfolio. What's your second favorite?
Well, it's interesting. It's so hard. That's a hard question, because I love the power in our Cheeses Love program and what that's doing for the community. And those cheddars are of premium age. They're 4 years. They're beautiful. But right now, so it's in the moment, right? If, for example, in Bergamo, it was Rogue River Blue in that moment. But in the moment right now at Rogue, I'm really enjoying Bluehorn. So Bluehorn is our Oregon Blue, our classic signature. It's named after a ox that lives on property, a pet ox, and it's the classic signature Oregon Blue soaked in Frey Vineyards Rhone varietal organic blend of red wine. So it's and the flavor.
When are we going to be importing more of these cheeses to the UK, please? No, Amy.
We'll do our best. We are into it. We're looking into it.
I think so, because people are just wanting it.
Oh, Sarah, I see that.
Sarah must be in the USA.
Yeah. And the other one that it's my go-to when Rogue River Blue is out of season is, of course, Caveman. You have that vegetal earthiness that you get with the Rogue River Blue. And you also have that hint of milk chocolate and brown butter and that toastiness that Naomi pointed out in our cheeses as well. And that sweet and savory in all Rogue cheeses is there. That's just a signature of the environment in which we make our cheeses. It's an impression that native Breve bacterium is leaving to bring out that sweetness and that characteristic of savory notes. So you'll taste that in all of our blues. So the Caveman Blue would be another one.
Okay. We're running out of time. I'm sorry. It's been absolutely fascinating. Your business model and ethic and work is just fantastic. It's just it's inspirational. Lots of people are saying so inspirational. We're going to have you back, David. I'm sorry, because there's too many questions.
I would love that. And maybe I'll focus more on the cows. We'll do.
Yeah, we need to just do the whole cow. We need to do the journey of the cows on their mile. I want to come with you and them on their mile walk to the parlor. So
That would be lovely. That would be
to
lovely.
their palace.
Mm.
I love it.
I'll be there.
Yeah. So Naomi, we've got a couple of people saying, do you, or to David, do you have a Canadian importer? And I think you're talking to someone in Portugal on the chat.
Yes. So I left my email address for any questions regarding how to get the cheese and so on. So don't hesitate to message me, and I can redirect you to the people in Portugal or Canada that will work with.
But there's not that much cheese, so we need, we've got to keep some of the UK.
Yes.
We definitely are reserving a good number of wheels for the UK. And for all of you, I don't know if you know how special this relationship is between the UK and the EU and Rogue. In 2003, when we won Best of Category and Reserve Champion, it was Neil's Yard Dairy and Whole Foods and La Fromagerie that drove those orders, that helped us create the first health certificate to export raw milk cheese into the EU. It had never been done. So we were bringing raw milk cheeses into the US, but never exported out of the US into the EU. As a result, I continue to select a good number of wheels, a strong, robust inventory of our raw milk Rogue River Blue for the EU and the UK. So unlike anywhere else in the world, it's just so special that the EU and UK have supported me over the years and allowed us to create this documentation so that our raw milk cheese can be enjoyed around the world. So that I'm grateful for. And
well, you just do such an awesome job. You are an incredible cheesemaker. I just personally, it's been amazing to meet you, and thank you so much for spending the time with us tonight.
Really a pleasure. And
thank you, David. Thanks, everyone.
Any questions that are following the session that anyone has, I'm happy to send an email, and I'll get that video to you, Tracy.
Please do, and we'll put the video up, David, but we want you back because we love having you in person, and I love the fact that at 10, well, maybe now 11 o'clock in the morning, you have your bow tie on, so.
Do that for you all.
Okay, thank you so much, guys. Lots of love and thanks on the chat. I'll send you the chat as well, David. So, okay. All right.
Really,
good morning. And
thanks, everyone. Thank you, Tracy.
Good evening to everybody else. Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Stay safe and healthy.
Yes, and you.